$2.5 billion. That's what the federal government claims Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana collectively have improperly paid in unemployment benefits.
With the job market continuing to struggle, it's all happening at a time we can least afford it. 9 News anchor Lance Berry is on your side tonight with this exclusive investigation.
What we have uncovered has state bureaucrats either on the defensive or so embarrassed they've stayed silent altogether. It also has lawmakers stunned and promising action. And as for you, it's going to likely leave you both shocked and angry. They are images all too familiar these days. Tri-state residents struggling to find work. Many laid off with any future paychecks in doubt. They, like countless others, now relying on unemployment benefits. Money that's vital for those who qualify, but it's increasingly being paid out to those who don't, by the billions.
We're all accountable. I mean, the public trusts us to make sure at the state level and the federal level that we're doing all that we can to make sure that the tax money is being spent in the way that it was designed to be spent.
But it's not. Take a look at what 9 News has uncovered. Indiana has the second to worst rate of all improper payments in the entire U.S., with 43% of that state's unemployment benefits doled out in the last 3 years to those who aren't even eligible. The price tag, more than $1.7 billion.
Those kind of figures are certainly something that we all need to be concerned with.
Longtime Indiana State Senator Johnny Nugent was shocked by the numbers in his state.
I would want to thank you for your efforts to air this information to the general public, because I think it's important.
In Ohio, the numbers are better than Indiana, but far from good, ranking 9th worst in the country. Improper payments there, $866 million, paid out at an error rate of 16% over the past 3 years.
We do not believe that there were $860+ million in overpayments over a 3-year period.
Ben Johnson is a spokesperson for the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, the state bureau that collaborates with the federal government on distributing the benefits. He says the error rate may not be as bad as it seems, due to monies they have already been able to recoup and because of how the data is collected.
There are 200,000 to 300,000 Ohioans collecting unemployment compensation at any given time since the recession started and currently. So 480 claims is a very small sample size, because each one of those 200 to 300,000 Ohioans submits a claim every single week. So there are literally millions of claims in the system, and so the Department of Labor is extrapolating a number out based on a very small sample.
Jane Oates is an assistant secretary for the U.S. Department of Labor. She blames state systems that have been overwhelmed in recent years.
All of our states have been stretched to the nth degree during the recession and the recovery. They've been pushed to extraordinary limits with the numbers of claimants that they have in their states.
While the state of Ohio took an offensive approach to explain their numbers, Indiana decided to play defense by getting camera shy due to their dreadful figures. Their Department of Workforce Development is headed up by Commissioner Mark Everson, but repeated phone calls and emails to Everson's staff, including to his Deputy Commissioner of Communications, Michelle Marshall, as well as news media specialist Valerie Kroger, all went unreturned.
And I would think they would want to jump at the chance to explain the situation and defend themselves.
Common Cause is a nonpartisan state government watchdog group based in Indiana. The organization's Julia Vaughn tells us, quote, "It is not surprising. Despite their pledge to be the most transparent and open administration in our state's history, the Daniels administration has been less than willing to share important information with the public, particularly when that information might portray them in an unflattering light." In Kentucky, the numbers are far better, with $90 million being paid out the last 3 years at an error rate of just more than 4%. 10% or less is generally considered acceptable. While the numbers of dollars being improperly paid out are staggering, normally the reasons why are not criminal.
A little under 3% nationwide are actually fraud.
Instead, the state's inabilities to track whether a person is actually working or even looking for a job is the far and away #1 reason why so many improper payments are being made. They are numbers and precious dollars these days that has Nugent promising action in Indianapolis and hopefully other state capitals as well.
Sure, I can have conversation with my colleagues and get some ideas on what procedure should be followed.
We are going to stay on top of this story and see what actions are taken in all 3 states in the days ahead. For more on this story, including additional reaction and also a chance to see the breakdown of state-by-state improper payment data, you can find my story on WCPO.com.
Lance Berry, thanks a lot.